political folks to account, and subsequently wanted to be a presidential candidate. In fact, went into being a presidential candidate, attempted it. That is very interesting indeed to have him on the show. And then you have Suleimana Isifu. He's a microbial economist. I'm just beginning to try and wrap my head around what that is exactly. And a social activist as well. That I understand. But that clearly tells you the list tomorrow is stellar, and you don't want to miss it, Samson.
Definitely.
You want to join Samson and his guest tomorrow for the Joy Change Speaker Series, the Diaspora Edition. It's from 9 to 12 noon. This is Ghana Connect, starting right now.
Brother Bernard.
Oh, yes.
Onya, this morning, the hunger won't finish me. I beg we go buy gobe. This time, I want me she add small salad, really small talia, then soft cocoa, specially made for me. Bear, you know how I like customize my choice.
Because of what? You think say you dey buy Vodafone made for me bundle offers, eh? Star 530 hash be the code to get the best value offers made just for you. With one Ghana city safe, you fit do so.
Hey, Brother Bernard, so you know Vodafone made for me bundles where you they hide them from me, eh?
Oh, just dial star 530 hash. Vodafone made for me bundle offers go make you feel on top. Vodafone made for me Sheda cook some unbeatable bundle offers give you from voice data or voice plus data. I mean just for you. Make you just dial star 530 hash and subscribe to the Vodafone made for me bundle offers, or make you download the My Vodafone app today. No.
Vodafone, further together.
Ready? Let's go. We all go bring some savannah.
Everyone is dancing, everyone is singing, because everyone is painting with Savannah. Savannah paints from Azar are affordable enough for everybody to fulfill their paint needs. Paint more, pay less. Savannah paint, we all go paint some.
We all go paint some savannah. We all go paint some.
It's raining beautiful goodies at Maidan Home Deco this Christmas.
Joy to the world.
Our stores are wide open and ready to treat you this Yuletide. Maidan Home Deco has all the essentials to decorate your home. Christmas decorations, throw pillows, vases, photo frames, and many more. We assist clients create their personal and corporate hampers with our exquisite gift item. Your bedrooms will come alive with our high-quality bed and bath products made of 100% Egyptian cotton. Our international brands such as Canon, Fieldcrest, Waverly are leaders in offering the most comfortable pillows, towels, bed in a bag, duvets in amazing colors and textures. It's a good time of year to give your home a facelift. Maidan is ready to give your home a simple yet trendy look. Look out for us in Accra, Junction, Achimota, and West Hills Mall. Follow us on Instagram. Maidan Home Deco. We bring quality and comfort to your home.
From the north,
Upper East,
Upper West,
Bono East,
Ahafo,
Western North,
Uti,
Savannah,
Northeast,
Volta,
Brong Ahafo,
Eastern,
Ashanti, Western, Central, and Greater Accra region.
Beautiful people, beautiful places, and lots more to explore in Ghana.
Aquaba,
Wamfalabo,
Wezo,
Amaraba. Welcome to December in GH.
Taste the joy of the land, assorted cuisines, vibrant parties, and festivals.
Diverse cultures, heritage from the delicately woven fabrics to the intricate dance moves.
Coastline deeply rooted in rich history, celebrating the return.
The joyous spirit of togetherness. Join the celebrations.
From 15 December, it's December in GH at the Aquaba Village, Airport Bypass Road, the one road to ply this festive season. December in GH, brought to you by the Ghana Tourism Authority and partners.
Remember December in GH.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ghana Connect. So it's been 6 years of the OSP's establishment. What has the office been able to achieve? There's been questions about whether or not it's been about its efficacy and whether or not it's achieved the results for which so many Ghanaians desired that office will be created. 2 weeks ago, you heard from the special prosecutor lamenting decisions going against him in court. This week, the Speaker of Parliament stirred controversy in Parliament when he claimed that the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor was an act in futility. So today, on Ghana Connect, we ask, has the office lived up to expectation? And for you, the ordinary Ghanaian, what do you make of the office's 6 years?
Agency created by law to fight corruption should receive better regard and consideration by the courts, and not this developing trend of dismissiveness and regression without regard to its governing enactments, and certainly not the erection of non-existent hurdles in its work.
For the law you passed on the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I did tell you that it was an act in futility. You were not going to achieve anything from that, but you went ahead to pass it. I disagreed with you, but I was alone.
Is this a view you share? And has the Office of the Special Prosecutor lived up to expectation 6 years on? Tonight on Ghana Connect, the citizens' verdict, right after this break.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a year strong, a year tough.
Before Ogun, the god of fire, I stand on oath.
By popular demand,
You force words from me again, you big Sarah.
the biggest play in the history of African theatre is back. The gods are not to blame.
We sent you all the way to Ile-Ife to bring us greetings from Ifa. All right, we greet Ifa too. Thank you.
Monday 18th, Tuesday 19th, and Wednesday 20th December at the National Theatre at 7 p.m. each night. Yes, for 3 nights only. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see Olarotimi's classic tale of fate, The Gods Are Not to Blame, for the last time in 2023 at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling now for only 150 cedis at www.imagebureaugh.com or dial *711*11*25#. Supported by Joy FM and proudly brought to you by Image Bureau in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre.
It is your time to vote for your assembly members and unit committee members. So get involved and vote.
Citizens of Ghana, this is an urgent call from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE. District level election is here again. This year's election will take place on the 19th of December 2023. Every 4 years, Ghanaians are enjoined to elect citizens to serve as assembly and unit committee members to help facilitate the development of your community and the district. The time to exercise that civic duty is now. On Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, visit your voting center between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. with your valid voter's ID card and cast your vote to elect your preferred candidate. Remember, democracy begins at the local governance level. Your vote counts. Vote for development change agents. Vote for Ghana. A message from the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE.
Media Sambisanda Moa. Etiam Ratiano, Mumu, Panet, Vietnam, Podompe, Mumana Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No Mumu wants me to be just Mali, my Marina there. And the crow, corporate to me, number of people, so you super excellent eba. I didn't have been the Braille. Who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I need Nakujun, you super excellent Chaco. Nenny, dear, a mouse, when you're credit, fit. No, what you ask you, my mother feel you. Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Chaco. I've idea. You're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadian Katuatu.
The luckiest. Luck is everywhere. For everyone. Yeah. The luckiest.
Keep buying your luckiest ticket with star 712 hash as an individual, a group, an association, or even a community, and stand a chance of winning in the community draw or the ultimate draw on 23rd of December. Be the luckiest on star 712 hash and win millions. Ticket sale starts on October 4th, 2023, and draw date is on 23rd December 2023. Play responsibly, not for persons under 18 years. This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform. Win millions on star 712 hash.
The luckiest. You could be the luckiest.
Welcome back. This is still Ghana Connect right here on Joy 99.7 FM. So the big question on the show tonight is, are you impressed with the results achieved by the Office of the Special Prosecutor since it was established 6 years ago? It's been 6 years. There's been 2 special prosecutors. It started off with Martin Alamisi Burns Kaiser Amido. He resigned abruptly, and then came the venerable law lecturer, the prosecutor, Kisi Ajibin. Kisi Ajibin has been in office for quite some time now. And last 2 weeks, I should say, he was in the media. He did a press conference and spoke about his frustration. Ended up by saying his Ankwanoma or the Nekraba for a Nimreswa. Now, call.
The establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I did tell you that it was an act in futility. You were not going to achieve anything from that, but you went ahead to pass it. I disagreed with you, but I was alone. But I'm very clear in my mind that that authority is embedded in the powers of the Attorney General, constitutionally. Who delegated to who? No, but that is not what you put in the act. What you just need to do is to fund the office of the Attorney General well and remove the Minister of Justice. You separate the two.
this decision opens up a calamitous deluge, as every person under criminal investigation will be encouraged to take out suits to injunct investigation and prosecution bodies from investigating and prosecuting them. Indeed, there is a live case involving the OSP now, in which someone has taken the cue to seek to injunct the OSP from investigating them. The real and present danger looms largely on the consideration that by so doing, persons under investigation would end up conscripting the judiciary to clothe them with immunity from investigation and prosecution.
Must come together to support the office of the special prosecutor. I believe strongly, because the office of the special prosecutor is not getting the institutional support, he had to do a press conference to say that his Ankwa Noma Odinikra Abo Afore is working alone. He's sacrificing his life. If you listen to him, you can come to a conclusion that this is a statement made out of frustration. Mr. Speaker, do we want a young man, 43 years, removed from the lecture theater and the courtroom and appointed as a special prosecutor to also resign as a result of frustration?
Is ranking member on the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, and then that on quite some bad chinos, but he's not at the can, so it's understandable. So the question tonight on Ghana Connect is: are you impressed with the results achieved by the Office of the Special Prosecutor since it was established 6 years ago? Please head on to our Twitter platform and vote in this poll. There's a poll running. I'm seeing some interesting results. We'll bring you the results quite shortly. You can also send in your messages 055 1111 997 055 1111 997. That if you have some comments on this, please connect with us on this WhatsApp line and we'll be excited to have you. So, who are connecting with me tonight? Really brilliant minds. And Nathan Gaduga, one of the very people who are vocal in backing the special prosecutor to succeed, because it's very important. Nathan, it's good to have you on the show tonight.
Good to have you, Clement. Good evening.
Good. So Clement is also joining us. Clement, it's good to have you on the show. Clement is a Ghanaian student in Germany.
Ah, okay.
Hello, Clement.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, Clement, good to have you connect with us. And Philip Saba. Philip Saba knows very well better than him for who just spoke on. He just spoke some battery there. But yeah, Philip, it's good to have you connect with us.
Yeah, Kwaku, it's nice connecting with you once again.
Yes,
but my boss didn't speak about battery. You should know that.
Yeah, okay. We'll not debate that. Vanessa Editom is a broadcast journalist. She will join us pretty shortly. So let's get right into the meat of this conversation. Let me start with you, Nathan. I'm really itching because I see your spirited debates on Facebook with Kufio Parihagan and the likes about your very strong views about the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Let's start from the ground. We'll get into the details. But do you agree with Speaker Bagbin that the OSP's office creation is simply much ado about nothing and just won't go anywhere?
I vehemently disagree with him, and I think that the position that he held or even espoused was, for me, very, for lack of a better word, very unfortunate. Because if the same critic or criticism were to be extended to Parliament, I'm sure Parliament in itself won't stand. Because I believe there are people who think that apart from car loans and things that are selfishly in the interest of parliamentarians, not much is done. So if we were to be as equally critical as Bagbin is with the special prosecutor, I think that Parliament in itself cannot stand. So let's not even get there. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the issue. Now, what is the speaker saying that he would rather have the Attorney General's department separated. So we have somebody else take on the role as Minister of Justice. Now, this is a position that people have been talking about over and over again, but never quite had the political will to do this. Now, let's just have a little background, and I think that will put the issue in its correct perspective. Kwaku, we all know what the impact of corruption is to our country, right? I don't need to belabor that point because we know what corruption has done to our country. From 1992 to now, and I just want us to limit it to just the executive. I know corruption is far and wide. It's extensive into messengers in public offices. It's far and wide. But I just want us to limit it to the executive, to ministers, and to deputy ministers, and to a lesser extent, to maybe heads of public institutions. And the question that I would ask is, from 1992 to now, 2003, how many executive members have been successfully prosecuted in this country of ours? If I could just hazard a guess, I would say it would not be more than 20 from 1992 to now. I stand to be corrected, but I believe strongly that we have not prosecuted more than 20 executive members in government for over a 30-year period. Why? And I ask, how many corruption scandals have we read about? Have we had personal knowledge of? Have we seen? Have we even told our friends and family or people about? How many? Let's start from the Rawlings' era through to Kufuor's era, through to the late Jonathan Mills's era, through to John Mahama's era, through to present Akufo-Addo's era. If we were to chronicle the number of prosecutable acts of corruption in our country, it beggars belief that we can even say that not more than 20 people have been jailed. And why is that the case? Is the question that many people would ask. And the answer is so straightforward. It doesn't need any argument. There has always been the issue of the lack of political will for the Attorney General to prosecute its own people. And look at this. Even for the 20 people that I talked about 98 to 99% of those prosecutions happened after the government in power had left office. So it takes one Attorney General to leave office for another Attorney General of the opposing party or government to come and prosecute the other. So it hasn't worked for an existing Attorney General to prosecute its own people. So the very idea of having an independent prosecutor to look at things from an independent perspective and prosecute people is something that I would on any day vouch for. And I think that is the way to go. Now, if we were to look at the performance of the current special prosecutor.
Nathan, I'll come there. I'll come there now. I think you've laid a very good premise that we have to build on. Of course, you cited the 98% according to the numbers you have. Of course, we've seen a few prosecution within government, like Malam Issa under President Kufuor, and then Abu Gapele and co also under former President John Dramani Mahama. So there are those isolated instances. But the truth is also that a lot of governments do not prosecute their own. So, Philip, that's a good point. That even the Attorney General, that we so much think that, okay, if you separate the Attorney General, you will get some results. You wouldn't get really anything. And so if the Attorney General and Ministry for Justice, after so many years being established, having the track record with so many people populated, are unable to prosecute big time corruption cases, why are we so disturbed that the OSP in 6 years, which is still trying to populate its office, which is still trying to get a logistics necessary, which is still trying to lay some precedent? Why are we putting so much pressure? Why do we think it's not working?
Kwaku, if you can hear me, good evening again. Not to attack the opinion of Nathan, but I think it's unfortunate on his side to suggest that Parliament and parliamentarians engage themselves in parochial and selfish arguments and
But
proceedings.
is he not right? Is he
I
not
think
right?
that
Car
is
loan
quite
issues.
unfortunate. But to move on with that, it's not a banter. I'm not attacking his opinion. That's quite his opinion. But I think he may probably want to embrace himself with more parliamentary procedures to understand the work of parliament and more other things that they do aside him thinking that they buy V8 and many other things. You see, what Speaker said from the point of view on my side, I think that it is not just the creation of the office. The creation of the office is not enough. Resourcing the office to perform the function to which it was created or to which it is created is the paramount point here. Now, we've heard calls from Martin Amidu when, largely the whole idea of the Office of the Special Prosecutor was created as a political game or as a political plan to appoint Martin Amidu at the time, who was very aggrieved with the ruling NDC government. So there was a promise, and the people feeling that, okay, when we appoint Martin Amidu, he will be a wild dog chasing the NDC appointees who were in power for them those days, and then so that issues will come up and they will be like, oh, even their own NDC member is now chasing them. I think that the frame or the idea, the intention of creating the Office of the Special Prosecutor was not to give them that free will of working. It is just to sanitize the situation where on the surface we see that there is a conscious effort to fight corruption. Meanwhile, behind the scene, there are a lot of corruption issues going on there. So you realize that Martin Amidu couldn't find anything evidential about the previous government, where he wanted to act on the current government and many other things that were happening. He couldn't survive. His office was not resourced. You heard many calls from Martin Amidu not having office spaces, not having enough money to even work. Meanwhile, fighting corruption is very, very expensive. You risk your life going to chase corrupt people who know that their integrity and their image and their family and everything that they have gathered or they have worked for over the years is on the line. They in a very critical condition, they don't care taking your life away. So that could even delve into the call of the current Office of the Prosecutor, calling for bulletproof cars and many other things. Some of the citizens, some of us feel that it is a conscience call because you can't fight corruption with your bare hands. You need to protect yourself. Sometimes we see in TVs, we see in movies, FBI in America and many other places, the kind of technology and the kind of cars that they drive to chase some of these things. In as much as it's a movie and we would not want to say that it's a movie world, we are living in a fantasy world, you realize that the kind of resources, the kind of the empowerment that they give these offices to operate results in whatever that we see out there in the developed countries. Now, corruption cannot be limited to executives or heads of institutions. I think my brother suggested that early on. He said it is large, but he wanted to limit it to the executive. But you see, the security or the gateman at an office or somewhere even collects bribe. So we can't just be seeing corruption as something that affects the higher authorities. Let's go down, let's go back, look at every stage of the ladder. Corruption find its way to trickle into every other person, not just the heads. So all of us focus that corruption is targeted at the head of the institutions. Meanwhile, in between us, there are issues of corruption. But so I think that in as much as the Office of the Special Prosecutor is a good call, it is in the right direction to fight corruption in the country. It is the intention behind creation of this office by the President William Adodan Kwaku was to attack NDC people, which ended up not achieving that purpose. So they realized that if that is not happening, and you see, when you don't feed your dog and someone start feeding your dog, the dog start barking at you. Now that the dog is barking at them, they are frustrating the office. They are making sure that the office doesn't get the capacity or the requisite measures and infrastructure and many other things that the office needs to perform.
Okay, Philip, hold it there. I'll come back to you. I think you've made a good point. You talked about William Ekufuado, Nana Ekufuado. That's the president, His Excellency. So the William is not something he uses. So I just thought we should clarify that. But Clement, where do you stand? 6 years on, I want to start getting into the conversation. 6 years on, has the OSP lived up to the expectation? In fact, not just Kisia Jeben, because he's a part of the whole story because Martin Amidu started it and he's come to continue. What do you make of that office and what he's been able to achieve 6 years on? Has it been able to live up to the bill, the expectations?
Yes, thank you very much. And I'm happy to be part of this conversation because corruption is, I think, one of the biggest, I don't know, cankers. Yes, the word is cankers that have bedeviled our country to a larger extent. And with the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I think when the topic came, I was just roaming around the website of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and everything about it looks good on paper. But then with expectations, I wouldn't really say it has lived up to expectations or not because obviously we can see what is happening. Now, it was established in 2018 and 6 years down the line, the question is what has it been able to achieve? Now, another question we should also take into consideration is that what was the idea? I mean, what was the intent? Like my brother who just ended was speaking, what was the intent of the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor? Personally, I think is a good thing, although others may disagree that there are other officers that could, whatever the cases, but then the Office of the Special Prosecutor, with it coming into being, personally to me was a good idea because the aim was to fight corruption. Now, 6 years down the line, when you look at cases, when you go to the Office of the Special Prosecutor and you look at the cases that they have, like that have come to the table, so many cases from A to Z, so many interesting cases. The question is, what has become of these cases? That is the question we should be asking. What has become of these cases? Now, my two brothers spoke about, the first one spoke about the lack of political will as some sort of a barrier or a challenge to the office meeting its expectations. And my second brother, who just landed, also spoke about the fact that the office lacked resources. And resources, he only highlighted on material resources, where he compared advanced countries where they have FBI, advanced technologies, and stuff. But then what we are also failing not to look at is the human resources.
Kweku, can I just correct something?
Okay.
Can I just correct something
quickly?
Make
that point.
So, the lack of political will I made reference to was in respect of the Attorney General's office and not the Special Prosecutor.
Okay.
So, over the years, the assertion has been that the Attorney General has lacked the political will to prosecute its own. So that's the point I made, and not the Special Prosecutor. Just to clarify.
Thanks for the clarification.
Well, it makes sense. But then even if I'm to borrow it, it also boils down to the Special Prosecutor in a sense. Now, what I was saying is that we are also not looking at the material resources. Now, the first thing we should also ask ourselves is that what is corruption in itself? How let's look at Ghana. You realize that corruption in itself has been established and maintained cohesively. Three words: established and maintained cohesively. So, in fighting corruption, it's not really about there could be an office, there could be all the resources, all the protective whatever, but then will it be achieved? Let's look at recently Cecilia Dape's case. What has become of the case? We hear the special prosecutor talk about frustrations. Who is frustrating the special prosecutor? If indeed the office is to serve the purpose for which it was created, with these current cases, these interesting cases that the office has sat on, let's look at the outcome of these cases and how these cases have been manipulated to whatever extent. So, if we are talking about it meeting its expectations, then I don't think it has gotten anywhere. Then people will therefore confirm that we indeed said that it will come to nothingness. But indeed, if all things being equal, in terms of everybody coming to support the agenda, we are all corrupt. There's no denying the fact that we are all corrupt as Ghanaians because we buy our way into everything. We buy our way into everything. So it's all about changing our mindset. And for the Office of the Special Prosecutor to be able to meet its expectations, its government has a part to play. And as citizens, we also have a role to play until we all come to that mindset, which will be very difficult for us to have, then I don't think we are going to go somewhere and we'll keep talking about these things year in, year out. And as I said in my opening statement, that the role, the whole idea of the office of the special prosecutor looks perfect on paper. But then in actuality, what we are seeing is just like another organization that just came, it won't achieve anything, and it will go back and politicize it.
And not quite delivering the results. Clement, good point that you make. That I want to go back to. I want to go back to Nathan, and I want to zero in right in terms of Kwesi Agyeman. He's been in office for more than 2 years now, and he's not been able to, as it were, put anyone behind bars. He did some painstaking. I mean, Nathan, he did some really good work on like Bianca, but the court has quashed it over the past few weeks now. Nathan, has Kwesi Agyeman lived up to the billing? You've gone on where Kofi Opare on Facebook a couple of times where he makes the point that his point is that Kwesi Agyeman is actually incompetent and that he cannot lead the office.
Okay, so and you are right about it. I've had a very feisty argument with Hagan about the performance of the special prosecutor. And let me say for a fact that, yes, having worked both in public, in the civil sector and even in the corporate world, I believe more in measuring results, not just the effort. So to the extent that we haven't had anybody successfully prosecuted, and by successful prosecution, I mean jailed for corrupt acts, I will say that is a defect which the special prosecutor needs to work on. And I think there are criticisms from constructive, and I think the watchword here must be constructive criticism. The special prosecutor must do an introspection of himself, of his office, of his objects, and try to navigate the office in a way as to get results. Because I think that is what we ought to be looking at. Now, the question is, look at the cases that the special prosecutor has followed. The issue of, say, the former PPA boss. We have a former PPA boss who had the duty and the responsibility to ensure that public procurement is done in the right way. Now, the boss himself was corrupting the same system he was presiding over. Is this something that the special prosecutor needed to prosecute? The resounding answer is yes. Now we talk about Cecilia Daper's issue. Is this something that should be of interest to the special? And I'm not pronouncing guilt on the former sanitation minister, but I am saying that the conduct and what happened, is this something that needed to be looked at by the special prosecutor? And the resounding answer is yes. The issue has been the how. How has the special prosecutor gone about prosecuting the case? And that is where I would want to say that he himself must do an introspection of how he has gone or executed those cases so far. Are there ways that he probably could have done it in a different way in order to ensure a jail term?
Yeah, but why is he going to court? He's going to court on so many cases and coming back empty. Almost every case he's gone to court with in recent time, he's lost them.
That's the point. That's the point I'm making. So he needs to do that introspection and try to, as it were, learn from the bad experiences that he's had so far. But I would, on any day, back his office to ensure that he does a good work to the extent that he is ready and following the right path and the channel to fighting corruption. As long as he has the political will to do that, which I believe he has, as compared to the status quo in the past, or what we presided over in the past, where it was only the Attorney General who was prosecuting cases for the last 30 years. We never had even over 20 successful prosecutions. So maybe we just need a bit of time, give the special prosecutor some time. He himself needs to learn from the experiences that he's had so far and then learn from it. I wasn't too happy with his pronouncements over the last couple of days because I believe in the judiciary. So if, for instance, you go to court and the case was the judgment was not in your favor, there is always an appellate body for you to appeal. Go to the appeals court and let the judge know that the decision he or she took was wrong. You don't come to the public and come and cry and complain to the public. There is an appellate body where you need to go and fight your case there.
But that may mean a really, really frustrated Kizia Jeben, because for those who know him, they know that he's really measured. He's probably not, but that probably is someone who is really hurt, who really feels like there is something in the system that is ganging up against him. I'll put that to you and the other panel members. But let's take some views. There are a lot of comments coming on WhatsApp and also our interesting poll that is happening right now on Twitter. The line is still active, 055-1111-997. You can send us your WhatsApp message, 055-1111-997. Michael Papani actually joins me in studio. Michael, we have some comments on WhatsApp and then we have a poll. You give us the question and the interesting results we are seeing, Michael.
Well, let's start with the polls, though. So the question we are asking is, are you impressed with the results achieved by the Office of the Special Prosecutor since it was established 6 years ago? Well, if you chose yes, that you are impressed with the results from the OSP over the last 6 years.
Are you in the minority or majority?
You are in the minority. As it appears, you are just part of the 15% of the people, just 15, who believe that, well, there's been some positive strides, that you are impressed with what you are seeing. But and a whopping 85% say, well, we are not impressed. I mean, he's been going to court, he's been doing all that he has to do, but we are yet to see the fruit of his labor. But there's a question, there's a comment writer that I think is interesting. This is from Elude, and he says that, well, waste of taxpayers' money. In the end, he was just appointed by the president. This wouldn't have been necessary if the GRA was effective as the IRS of the USA. The Attorney General's office should never be political if we really mean business with fighting corruption. Let's go to some of those connected with us on WhatsApp and those who have sent their messages to us. This one from Kofi Seidu in Konongo, all the way from Konongo. Thank you for sending us. It says that the creation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor is duplicating the functions of the AG because the heads of these two institutions are appointed by the president, hence lacks the so-called independence. He thinks that it wasn't a judicious use of our resources and should be scrapped. Kofi, thank you very much. This one from Benedicta, all the way from Adenton, says that, well, so what is the difference between the YOCO and the OSP, especially given what the OSP said they did this week? Kofi, I don't know what you think about that. The millions of dollars that we understand that the OSP managed to stop their circulation.
About $45 million. That was
making
top story.
Yeah, so she's just making the likeness to the economic YOCO and that of the OSP, essentially doing the same thing. So what she continues says that, well, we can meet some of these institutions and see how effective they can be. Thank you very much for sending us that as well.
Michael, thank you very much. Michael brought us these interesting results from our polls on Twitter. 85% say they are not impressed. I'm sure Nathan Gaduga is not part of the 85%, of course, because he's one of those who believe that the OSP still needs a lot of room for improvement. But let me go to you, Philip Saba. 85% of those of us who voted on the Twitter poll say they are not impressed. 15% say, well, they are okay with the work that is going on. Why do you think so many people believe that the OSP isn't quite living up to expectation? You really started by making a point, not really believing that the OSP is making good strides, but 85%. That is the OSP to look at this to say that, listen, I need to up my game.
Kwaku, you see, the office of the special prosecutor would have been one great one. Looking at some may say that sometimes they are a bit quite selective as to the cases that they want to go after. But you see, in as much as these things are there are cases that the OSP wants to engage in, and they get frustrated. You can talk about the cases that even quite recently, when the issue of Cecilia Dapa was in the news, the OSP challenging the capacity she had to had such a huge amount in her room under her bed. And you see the level of frustrations and many other things that come across that. It goes to court to inquire injunction, and sometimes it's been denied, and many other things. So you see, if the OSP, you see, there is an Ewe proverb that he who sits under the mill hears the sound louder. You see, when the OSP himself is coming to say that he is being frustrated by government. Government hasn't come out to deny that
Philip,
yes, we are not frustrating you. You want this, and we have given it to you.
He did not mention. He did not mention government. He of course, he talked about court, but he did not mention that maybe government necessarily is frustrating him. Is that
not necessarily mentioning government, but you see from all angles of frustration, what is more powerful than the OSP at the moment is the government. So if there is any level of frustration, it would definitely be from that side. But he didn't mention that, and I'm just suggesting that could be one angle where the frustration is coming from. You see, when you are not, the office is just there. We've just created an office, and the office is not giving the necessary support that it demands. You know, government is the final say, or government gives the final say. So when government backs you to do something, you do it to all the highest fulfillment that it deserves. But the frustration that has been given to the office of the special prosecutor, because for me personally, I think that the special prosecutor on his own, there are some other cases, and there are very important things that he needs to delve into, and he's very lazy towards some of these things, and some of these things that he equally does, there are frustrations that are there. You remember there are quite a number of cases that you wanted to engage in, frustration here and there. Now, when citizens even call, in as much as if he's frustrated, there are necessary authorities that he's supposed to go to. He goes to the courts, the High Court or the Supreme Court to make his request and many other things. The court of public opinion cannot be left out. When people are looking at you as the OSP, everybody knows that the office has been created and you are there. You are being paid by the taxpayer. The taxpayer's money is being used to pay for many other things that you do. I think that the office should be very well enough to stand in, to go in for it. Recently, we heard Martin Amidu advising the office of the special prosecutor that he should stop chasing the Airbus scandal, because that issue has been dropped and there is no fact to link to the fact that it was President John Dramani Mahama. But that was what they were trumpeting. That's what they had. When it comes to issues of NDC, issues of Mahama and many other people, they get that push to get there. When it turns back to go to this side, it is a different thing. So I think that the political game being played with the office of the special prosecutor is making it very hard for the office to function. If we can, as citizens, can come together, or there can be a call that will be heard by the necessary bodies, that the office of the special prosecutor should be given that freedom, should be given the necessary opportunity and infrastructure and the support to work. I think they can realize their full capacity of what they are doing, and Ghanaians would be well informed and will appreciate their work.
Okay, Philip, thank you. Clement, I mean, do you think it's time to probably give up on the office of the special prosecutor and think like, okay, this was an experiment, we thought it will work, it's been 6 years, it's quite not lived up to the billing, so maybe we should give up, move on? That's something you think we should be doing?
I think the office of the special prosecutor has really exposed like something greater about corruption in Ghana. Now, what the office of the special prosecutor now tells us is about how systemic, like the systemic nature of corruption in Ghana. Now, we all keep mentioning about, we blaming the office of the prosecutor, the OSP, but then we are not, what we are failing to look at is that the OSP does not work alone. He's working with his systems, and he cannot do anything alone. He cannot prosecute alone. So then the question that comes is that, was the office really established to fight corruption? if it was indeed established to actually fight corruption, then everything would have been in place to actually aid in the fight against corruption. But then here we are. Now the officer comes out to say that I am frustrated. The question is, who is frustrating the officer? Now, he's not the first person, he's the second person. Martin Amidu published a lengthy, I don't know if I'm to call it a book paragraph about his report and issues surrounding the office. And we were like, oh, let's bring another person. Another person comes, and this person also comes to tell about how frustrated he is. Isn't it telling us about the systemic nature of corruption? It tells you that the office in itself cannot fight corruption alone. And the OSP himself cannot, even if the office cannot, how can he himself do it? The whole issue about corruption is about the system, how these systems of corruption has been established and maintained. So anybody that shows up that I want to really fight corruption diligently, then the system has to rise against the person and frustrate the person, as in the words of the OSP. So it's not really about we talking about the office, whether it has failed or something, but then it's about how we are fighting corruption as a country, the approach to corruption, and it's systemic. And with the system has to do with both governments, individual organizations, the citizenry, everybody has a role to play in the failure, if I'm to put it like that, of the office of the special prosecutor, and not the person occupy the position alone, because he's actually not doing anything.
Well, great point that you made, Clement. And Nathan, I want to give you the last word on this. I want you to spend the next 3-4 minutes. Should Kisia Jaben step aside? Should he resign? Clearly, he spoke of the one he spoke 2 weeks ago. He came across as someone who was clearly frustrated, who really thought that the job was really being difficult. If he thought it was a good job and he accepted it and thought that there's not a job he can live up to, do you think he should step aside before the next 3-4 years?
We cannot afford to have another resignation from the OSP. Yes, he can be frustrated, and it's part of the job. You are not supposed to win every case you send to court, so that is quite understandable. If there are issues that need addressing, I'm sure, like I said, he needs to do that introspection and do it. But quickly, let me say once again that we cannot afford to allow the special prosecutor to fail. If the special prosecutor fails, our fight against corruption will never be won. Because from the experiences of the past, what we have learned is that the Attorney General appointed by the government in power has never had that political will to prosecute its own. And so we need to encourage the special prosecutor as much as possible to be able to win this war against corruption. And any attempt to try to pigeonhole him into one political party or the other, or to try to politicize the kind of work he does, is also part of the problem. If there is corruption from any quarter, be it from the NPP or from the NDC or from any quarter, he is mandated by law to go after that person. But if we now begin to look at it from the political lenses and say, okay, he is prosecuting this person because he's from the NPP, or he's prosecuting that person because he's from the NDC, then we ourselves are part of the problem. And I think I've heard bits and pieces of that even in this evening's program. We need, as a country, to make the special prosecutor succeed. He himself needs to do some homework, but we need to support him as a country to make him succeed. Because if he fails, our fight against corruption will never be won. Thank you.
But how is that so? Maybe it's because, like Ofio Paragan will believe, maybe he's not the right man for the job. So he leaves,
Kwaku,
then we bring another person in.
Kwaku, you see, I don't know, but we can't continue to have the issue of special prosecutor. A lot of people resigning under the president and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo because their works have been frustrated. It means that something is wrong somewhere.
What is going on?
You see, we can't have many people resigning, people who are here to fight corruption, resigning because their work to fight corruption cannot be achieved. I think it is so wrong. We can't continue on that tangent. I think we should find a way. Let's look at the statutes that establish the office of the special prosecutor. Let him work. Let him get that freedom that he needs to work with. He should work to realize the essence of it. We know the Attorney General was there. We know that that's the state prosecutor, but we established the office of the special prosecutor. We shouldn't see it just as a political achievement that we are trying to fight corruption. Meanwhile, we are not indeed fighting the corruption. We shouldn't make it something like it is. The office should not be created as just a political white elephant.
So it shouldn't just be that we promised to create a special prosecutor's office. We've created it. Whatever happens with it, we've given up. Philip, good words to end the show. It was good having you, Philip, on. Clement, a newbie to the show. Clement, good to have you on. I hope I'll get to hear from you most times on the show again. And Nathan Gaduga, thank you so much. Far away, but you really made time to join us today. Thank you so much for your inciting perspective. The library is up next with Andy Dosty. You don't have to miss it for anything. My name is Kwaku Asante.